I would say obsessed is probably not quite strong enough. But I mean, and I look at the numbers and and people don't know about it. And I feel like I'm sitting on these secrets, Shane. I don't know how else to put it. And I just want people to know about it. It might not be right for them, but everybody should know, okay, this is something that might happen.
Welcome to the Social Dialogue Podcast. We're a mother-daughter team, both working in the world of social media management.
Join us as we share our different perspectives on life today, including trends, fashion, friendships, and career, and how social media impacts it all. Together, we bring two perspectives to one conversation.
I'm Shane.
And I'm Jenna.
And we're excited to bring you this new episode of the Social Dialogue Podcast. Right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Social Dialogue Podcast. Jenna is still on a little bit of a hiatus. She has now been living, when we record this, she's been living in New York this is her second weekend, although the first weekend she had to meet me in Boston for a family event. So this is her first weekend in New York City. So it's still just me. I hope that's okay with everyone. But we are doing our second installment of our new series, Great Big Client Conversations, where I'm sitting down with my big voice social clients and talking about their business, who they are, what they do, and how we came to work together. So today I am welcoming Suzanne Scheer. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Suzanne Scheer became passionate about long-term care planning after an 8-year journey caring for her parents while raising her young son. She saw firsthand how a long-term care insurance policy eased her father's situation and how the lack of coverage burdened her mother. That experience changed the course of her career. Today, she helps families and individuals prepare with confidence. Suzanne, I'm so glad that you're here today. Thanks for
Thank you so
joining
much.
me.
Thanks, Shane, for having me.
Absolutely. So we're going to dig in on your specialty and your passion, long-term care insurance. And it's so funny. I tell people, like, anyone I refer to you, or even like when we were sitting down with my husband, I was like, you would never know someone could be so passionate about something like long-term care insurance, but you are, and you have, I don't want to call them great anecdotes because they're not all happy, but they're great anecdotes that explain the reason why people in our generation, I'm Gen X, I'm 53, why this is the time. So talk to me a little bit about kind of who you are and what you do in general. Let's start there.
Sure. So I was an only child and my parents were a little bit on the older side for the time when they had me. Today it wouldn't be considered older, but my mom was almost 35 and my dad was 42. So for back then, that was pretty ancient.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always cognizant of how old they were relative to how old I was. And it always made me kind of nervous. So I went through the caregiving journey a lot earlier than a lot of people. And, so when I was 33, my son was 15 months old and my mom fell and broke her hip.
And you were practicing as an attorney then, is that right?
At that point, I was part-time.
Okay.
I'd gone part-time after my son was born. And then it just became clear between the stuff going on with my son and the stuff going on with my parents, it was just too much. So I ended up stopping. I can't even remember exactly the day I stopped, but I know it got to the point where it was just too much. But so anyway, so when my mom got hurt breaking her hip, I took over my parents' finances and then gradually was just overseeing her care for different things. And then a couple years later, my dad had a stroke, and then a few years later, end-stage dementia. So it was just a lot of things. And so I went through it, when they passed, I was 41. So, and so I went through it much younger than most people do. I mean, I see my peers now in their 50s or even older going through this. I mean, I know it's funny when I see people who are in their 60s taking care of their parents who are in their late 90s. And it's, my grandfather I was like my mom's situation. Her father lived to be 96, I think it was, or 94, very old. So, but anyway, so I went through it very young. And so after my parents passed away, I had to become a person again because I really wasn't a person while they were having all their health issues. And when I finally was ready to go back to work, I had been doing family law, but I wanted to do something different that had some more flexibility. So I became a financial advisor, and insurance was a part of that. And I was doing it, but it wasn't the big focus. But then I'd say about maybe 4 or so years ago, I just became really hyper-focused on the long-term care insurance because I saw that people are not thinking about it. They don't want to think about it. It's, of course, who wants to think about it? It's
morbid. Yeah.
It's not something that we want to think about. And then a lot of times financial advisors won't bring it up for lots of different reasons. It could be they're not very familiar with it. It could be they don't want to see, there are some newer policies out there now where sometimes people will take a lump sum and just write one check and be done with paying for the policies. The advisors don't want that money leaving their management because they get paid based on how much they manage, or there are a lot of different reasons why advisors won't bring it up. And so there's this big blind spot that so many people have where they don't realize that this is something that they need to think about because it can have such a huge impact if you do need care for a long time. So when I realized the fact that it wasn't being addressed, and then the more I got to learn about the newer kinds of policies where if you don't ever need care, your loved ones get money that was put into the policy. So it's not this gamble like it used to be where you worried, oh, well, if I never need care, that money's just gone. I mean, it's kind of the combination of factors of seeing the need, learning about the products, finding out about the fact that with the asset-based products or hybrid, as you might hear them called, the premium, even if you pay it over time, the premiums are guaranteed level, so you know what you're paying. That all just clicked for me because I'm very much a risk-averse person. I don't like surprises. I don't want an adjustable rate mortgage. I want a fixed rate mortgage. I want to know what I'm paying. And with the traditional long-term care insurance, the premiums are not locked in and you can have increases. So when all these sort of things just kind of clicked for me, and then all of a sudden I just became, I would say obsessed is probably not quite strong enough, but I mean, and I look at the numbers and and people don't know about it. And I feel like I'm sitting on these secrets, Shane. I don't know how else to put it. And I just want people to know about it. It might not be right for them, but everybody should know, okay, this is something that might happen. You don't have insurance already that covers it. Your health insurance, your Medicare won't cover it. And if this happened, what would you do? And if you want to have something in place and your health is good enough that you can get it, look and see maybe it makes sense. I was just talking with someone yesterday and she was looking for plan for her 78-year-old mother, and I said, I don't think it makes sense. It's too much. It doesn't. Right. So
Yeah.
I'm the first one to say, if I don't think it's a good idea, I'm not just going to sell somebody something because I want to sell them something. I want it to be a good fit, but I just want people to know about it because that's the
Well,
thing
and I
that's shocking.
imagine some of the pushback that you get when you meet with people and they say, I don't want to do this, it's, I've got enough money. So talk a
Right.
little bit about, I mean, for people in our generation, do we have enough money? Because it sounds like maybe we don't. And then you mentioned also Medicare doesn't cover everything. So talk a little
Right.
bit about long-term care insurance, what it does cover and what it covers that Medicare doesn't cover so that people are more knowledgeable about it.
Great question. So when we're talking about long-term care, we're talking about the kind of care that is not medical. So you don't need a doctor or a nurse to do it. It's the things that you probably did, and I probably, you do every day when you get out of bed. You don't even think about it. You get out of bed, that's called transferring. You go to the bathroom, you take a shower, you get dressed, you eat, and then you maintain continence throughout the day. Those are called the activities of daily living. And if you can't do 2 out of 6 of those by yourself safely, or if you have a significant cognitive impairment and it's expected it's going to last at least 90 days, that's by definition a long-term care event. So they call it custodial care because it's not something that's medical. So because it's not medical and you don't need a doctor or a nurse to help you with those things, it's not covered by your health insurance and it's not covered by Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone had an accident, an illness, regardless of their age, and they had to pay somebody to come and help them, it could be $40 an hour. It adds up really quickly.
Yeah. Well, and like
it's
you
so
said, it
expensive.
doesn't have to just be senior citizens. I mean, you can have a
No.
terrible car accident now and you
Right.
need home care or you need some kind of inpatient, not patient, but like a rehab center. Does it cover a rehab center?
It depends how it works. So if someone's on Medicare and then they're in the hospital for at least 3 days, then they do have a short-term amount of coverage through Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
But someone under 65, not on Medicare, wouldn't have anything for that. Or if it goes on beyond that point, you wouldn't have. So there are a lot of scenarios where these different things can happen and you wouldn't be covered. And so the idea of long-term care insurance is that it's a dedicated source of funds that's there for you if you need something. So you don't have to sell mutual funds or stocks on a day when the market's down, or you don't have to take from your retirement account and have a big tax hit. The idea that okay, well, I've got some money here that's separate, that's not gonna, it's like I view your portfolio almost like a Jenga game. And if you need to take something out, it can really disrupt everything. But I guess I should say Tetris to make it more 80s, right? For anyone who's old enough to remember. But so I think I sort of answered your question, but that was a long
you did.
way.
I swear every time we talk, I learn something new. There's always some other thing that I forgot to ask you. So now I'm a little bit more clear on that. At what age, what's sort of like the prime age that people should be looking at investing in long-term care insurance? Is there?
There is. I mean, people should start learning about it in their 40s. I would say if somebody knows, let's say someone has a family history, they had a relative, parent who had dementia and needed care for a very long time, and they're worried about a genetic predisposition or something like that. Or if there are other things going on where they're worried about their health, then getting it early is good. You could start at 40 potentially. For the average person, I would say learn about it in your 40s and try to put it in place early 50s to mid 50s at the latest. With these hybrid plans, you lock in a premium when you get the policy. So, and the younger you are, the less expensive it is. So there's a huge benefit to getting it as young as possible because you'll pay in the least amount of money. And the whole point of these policies is that you're transferring the risk to the insurance company of something catastrophic happening. So you're putting in X dollars, and then that money, if you need care, it's multiplied, could be by five times, 10 times, depending on your age and your policy and how you structure it. But the idea is to, put something in place. Well, you have to be healthy in order to be able to get it, first of all. But the younger you are, the less expensive it'll be. So if you think of it that way, that you're maximizing your chances of qualifying and you're spending the least amount of money, if you're able to do it, which not everybody can. And another big thing is if you have assets to protect. If somebody's in a scenario where they're paycheck to paycheck, they don't have an emergency fund, they don't have anything in savings, they're barely paying their bills, then this is not appropriate because you don't have the money to put aside. But if you've got somebody who does have an emergency fund and they're funding their retirement accounts and they're fortunate enough to have extra money available, whether it's from an inheritance, whether it's from savings, whether it's from a bonus, all different kinds of things could come up. But if you have money that you're looking to protect, then that's really what we're talking about, especially with the asset-based plans. It's literally repositioning assets, putting on these features and benefits and making it more beneficial and more efficient to them.
Right.
So for the folks who do have a high net worth, a lot of times they'll say, well, you had asked this before, a lot of times people will say, well, I have enough money, I can just self-fund. And a lot of times it's true, you can afford it, but you're paying full price as opposed to essentially getting a discount, because if you put in $1 and for every dollar you put in, you get, let's say $8 of care tax-free, in order to come up with that same amount of money by investing it, first of all, it would take a long time for it to grow to the same point as it would with a policy. And then also, you don't have guarantees if you're investing the money. So someone will just say, well, I'm just going to take this money and invest it. Well, it could take you 30 years to get to a pool of, I don't know, let's say the numbers are kind of irrelevant. But the point is,
Right.
when you have a long-term care policy, day one, you have this big bucket of money available for care. That would take you 20 years to accumulate if you were to invest the money gradually.
And many of the plans that you look at, if you pass away and you never needed it, then the money goes to the estate, correct?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So it goes back to the family should you never need the policy, which is quite a benefit.
Right. And that really depends on the exact numbers. Sometimes it's more than what you put in, sometimes it's less, depending how you structure it. Or
Right.
even if you only use a little bit of that insurance part of it,
Right.
you could still have whatever, like let's say only use half of the insurance part of the policy, then whatever's left can go as
Right.
so you don't feel that you've wasted money. And when you get your
Exactly.
policy, you know exactly what's going to happen at the different points in time.
Right.
So they're not, again, I don't like surprises when this
Right.
comes to these things.
Well, and I can share something personal with our family. We had my mother-in-law and father-in-law's policy. We had the booklets on them. We didn't know what they said. They're very long. So I sent them to you and you reviewed it and sent back. It was like maybe a page and a half of like bullet points of what was in there and then some questions from my mother-in-law to ask. And what we found out, she called the insurance company and asked all the questions you told her to ask. And we found out that she had paid a premium after her husband had passed. She's due back that money, and the insurance company says, we owe you this money back. Would they have ever realized that? I don't know. But she asked the question, and now she's getting a check in the mail. So, hey, that's great. So
That's a win. Huge win.
Thanks for that awesome service, Suzanne. So
Of
here's what
course.
I'm hearing. I'm hearing two major themes here. One is if you're like me and you watched Video Killed the Radio Star on MTV when it first launched, you're probably at the point you should be talking about this if you haven't. And the
Yes.
other thing I'll say that I've learned from you through all of our conversations is that this is truly a gift that we give our children. It's not so much a gift we give ourselves. Yeah, I mean, it is because we'll be needing care at some point and, but it takes the stress off of them. And then, if let's say I'm not with it and I need help, then my children have to like dig in and figure out my finances and pay for them. What kind of care can I afford? This is a gift we give them for the future. So I know that we're in discussions. We haven't made decisions yet, but we're in discussions with you. And I think I'm so glad that I feel comfortable having all of these they're personal conversations, but I feel comfortable doing that because I think you're looking at what's best for our family and, how can you not appreciate that?
Well, thank you. I take that very, very seriously. I mean, my whole career, I mean, when I was first working, I did family law. So I was dealing with people going through divorce, dealing with
Yeah.
very personal, very emotional
Suzanne, you've had
issues.
such an uplifting set of clients.
I know, right? Well, but I know, in all seriousness, I mean, in between the time of after my parents passed away before I went back to work, I didn't feel good because I wasn't helping anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I just feel like I get filled up by helping people and knowing that I could do something to make them better. I mean, I remember one time doing family law, there was a client and she literally, like, you could see her, she just looked beaten down
Mm-hmm.
during the divorce. And then
Yeah.
after everything was resolved, she came into the office for some signing papers or something. And she literally was sitting up straight. And to know that I had a part in that,
Yeah. That's
right?
great. That's
It
so
just makes you
great.
feel so good. Or when somebody gets declined for one insurance policy and then I can get them, I've had that happen recently. I just got one
Mm-hmm.
the other day where someone had been declined before and I found them something that works. Like it's just, that fills me up
That's
so
great.
much.
Yeah, I love
So
that. I love that you have work that makes you feel that way. So you've been doing this now for quite a while. You've been in this business. And so we met, how long ago did we meet? Sometime within the last year
yes.
through the forum. So until before you met me, like how were you marketing yourself before?
So I was attempting to do graphics with social media, but not very well.
Okay.
I wasn't as consistent as I would have liked to have been.
Okay.
And so I didn't feel that it was cohesive, or I just felt like it was just haphazard. And I just, I would share articles, or I would post things, or I comment on other people's posts or reposts, but I didn't have a plan. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have anyone helping me. It was just trying on my own to do it and sort of muddling along. And so when I learned about you and got to know you through the forum, and I realized that I could have someone on my side who would be able to, learn my crazy language and lingo and all the different things, and be able to partner with me and put out the beautiful graphics and be consistent
Well,
and just
credit to Lindsay. She's our graphic design artist. She does an amazing job with those. And I think she has a really good time making them. So I'm glad she has that outlet. So yeah,
so
that's
but
great. That's great.
and
Yeah. And then
yes.
I know in the past month or so, one of the things that we've learned is we're basically taking the messaging that you're giving us and then creating a voice and creating a plan and what is the
Mhm.
messaging we're putting out on social. But I know that you're working to hone that. So you've actually partnered with another vendor who we don't know. They're working with you directly on really fine tuning that messaging. And that is going to benefit, it's going to benefit the work we do when she's sort of giving you an audit, a report, recommendations, but it's also going to benefit you like when you go on podcasts or if you write a blog post or you might write an article for a newsletter or something, then you've got consistent messaging and all of that kind of works together. It's brilliant what this woman is doing. I don't know her, but it's a great tool that she is putting into place because she's really fine tuning as somebody who understands the financial industry, the messaging that we should be using that really works to hook people, to get people to click through. All of this is part of what we do from social to marketing to, all of it. So I think it's great that you sort of see the importance of having different people with different specialties that are all helping you to create your brand because you know what you do and you know how to sell it, you know what to do and you need some coaching and help on selling it. And so bringing in other people who can give you that kind of guidance, it's really a smart business move. So I think it's awesome. I'm excited to see what she
Thank you. And I'm so glad that you're receptive to it and willing to
absolutely.
collaborate.
Yeah, we
That
love
makes it great.
collaborating. It's like our favorite thing. Anytime we start working with a client and they're like, well, we have a web team, we have a PR person, we have a paid social, that's the best way to do this because we're in such, one slice of the marketing mix, doing social media, but the other pieces play into it. And so when we have other vendors who specialize in what they do and we can all work toward the good of the client, then that's when it happens, and you can really see outcomes and you can we work with a lot of our clients, especially our local clients. We work with a PR team and a web developer. We're all kind of on these same teams together. And we can, track traffic. We can say we put out this post and it had to do with this media hit that the PR team got. We can see where it landed on the website. Did it get them into the lead funnel? It all kind of works together. So yeah, it's our favorite thing. We love teamwork. It's our favorite thing.
And you have such a great team.
Well, thank you. I do. And I know you've done some coaching with Candace as far as video goes, and then you're working with another local person on some video stuff. So we're excited that we're going to have some video of Suzanne to roll out here soon, which is going to be awesome because there's nothing better than that face to camera when you're talking to your community right in the eyes. It's great. So we're excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So, Suzanne, what's coming up in the business? Anything else that you are doing to get your name out there? Or are we just kind of working with the video and the messaging and social for now? And I know you've got blog posts. You've got another blog post we're going to get published sometime next week.
Right.
Anything else coming down the pipe?
Well, I usually do a webinar every month, just an educational webinar. So I owe you the dates for the rest of the year, and I want to coordinate that just to get the information out, because that's my biggest thing is it sounds really, really hokey, but it's as if a force got into my body and said, okay, you over there, just mind your own business. It's up to you to teach everybody about long-term care insurance. You got to let them know that this is a thing, because some people don't even know it exists, and you've got to tell them about it, and you've got to teach them about it and make it understandable and make it so that they can just evaluate it and figure out if it makes sense, or if their parent has a policy, helping them through it, because that's a scary thing when you've got something that's documented and you don't know what it means. I mean, I look at them every day. If someone who never looks at it, they're
absolutely,
how are you supposed to understand it? And
right.
So anyhow, so just trying to teach people about it is really the biggest thing. And I don't know. It's just
so you've got the webinar. So we'll announce new dates for the webinars coming up. Everybody's welcome to those. You also have a book club.
Right. I was just going to say, I'm blessed to partner with Jillian Bernstein, who gets credit for connecting me with Dear Founder Forum. So I always am grateful to her for that.
And she's a past guest of the show as well.
Yes, she is an incredible HR proponent and loves helping people and connecting people. We always bring in a female founder to elevate to talk about a book that impacted them. So July 15th, we'll be having Jill Beck, another person from the Dear Founder Forum, who's incredible. We're going to be talking about a book called Brewing Up a Business. And so it'll be a Zoom book club. And the best part about our book club is that you don't have to read the book to attend.
As I know firsthand.
So
well, I hope to make it on July 15th because I would love to be there with Jill because I work with Jill as well. And she's just fantastic. So
yes, so I'm excited.
That's going to be great.
We never said it was just for women, but it's just sort of evolved into a women business owners business book club. And it's we have some networking at the end. And I have to shout out, last month we had my good friend Joy Levin. We did the book Unreasonable Hospitality, which if anyone hasn't read, it is phenomenal. I did the audio and I was very upset when it was over because it was so good. I was really serious, no joke. I mean, sometimes, I don't know. I would argue about dogs having fun.
Yeah, she's rolling around over there.
Okay. But anyway, so if anyone hasn't read that book, I would highly recommend it because it's just a really enjoyable listen.
Awesome.
But that's been so much fun. And then Jillian and I also have started doing a little in-person networking group, and we did a vision board workshop last time. And I just feel so supported there's just so many incredible women entrepreneurs I know and have become friends with and collaborate with on different projects. And I just never could imagine that at this part of my life, I would have figured out what I'm supposed to do and be able to do it. And then
be so passionate about it.
And to love it and to never want to stop. And, I wish I had started sooner. So I feel like I have to make up for the lost time. Yeah. And just to be so supported by, just the other Lindsay Pinchuk, who's founded the Dear Founder Forum. If you're not checking her out, you need to check out her incredible work. But
Absolutely.
the way she just has created this incredible forum for women who are like-minded and, 40 plus to be able to come together and help each other, support each other. And I just feel so loved by everybody. And then the support, it makes it such a joy
Absolutely. I feel the
to be
same
able
way.
to do things. And whenever, we can lift each other up, it's just, I don't know. I never thought at this point in my life it would be like this. And people think about, oh, getting older is terrible and this and that, but it's really an exciting time
Absolutely. I agree.
to be
Yeah.
50. I won't say how old exactly, but to
So,
be,
Suzanne,
this
tell
age.
everyone if they want to connect with you and find out about webinars or connect with you and make an appointment to speak with you, what are the best ways to do so?
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn, Suzanne Scheer, JDCLTC, or my website is sgsinsurance.net. And I'm more than happy to set up a chat. I'm sort of a night owl, so I don't mind talking in the evening or on a weekend. I tend to work pretty much all the time. So I'm pretty flexible with that. And if I have a day that goes by where I can't tell someone about long-term care insurance, I get kind of itchy. So
I love that. That's a great way to
yes.
go out. This was an awesome conversation, Suzanne. Thank you so much. You make long-term care insurance not sound like this boring have to do. You make it like, oh, I would like to learn more about that from this woman because she loves it. So
Thank you.
thank you for bringing it into the world and letting people know how important it is and how necessary it is. And yeah, we'd love everybody to connect with us on social. We work with Suzanne on her Facebook page and her LinkedIn, and she does a lot of the writing herself. We just collaborate with her. So yeah, so check us out and engage with us.
Well, thank you so much, not only for having me today, but for all the good work you're doing to help me. And whenever people say, oh, I'm seeing you on LinkedIn a lot or love your posts, it makes me
That's
feel
great.
really happy. So I'm
That's
very
great.
grateful.
Well, thank you. And everybody out there who's a Gen Xer, listen and share. Send it on to somebody who needs to know because Suzanne's your person. So thanks, Suzanne. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Shane.
Thanks for joining us on the Social Dialogue podcast. If you liked today's conversation, be sure to leave us a 5-star rating and a review and share it with a friend. Keep the dialogue going with us on social. Find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm Shane. And I'm Jenna. Thanks for listening.